I was driving back from my office today, and it's a new office. I just started renting it like a week ago, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know all the nooks and crannies, but the part of the road is like closed because they're doing construction. So I had to take a different way to get back to the highway. Anyway, I drive past this building. I don't know what it is. Insurance, police station. It's something. I don't know what it is.
That's
But on
that's
the
that's interesting together. Yeah.
Yeah, well, their police station is right over there, but I didn't know if it was that. Anyway, it doesn't matter what the building was. What's
Got it.
important was
Okay.
on the corner. So it's in the downtown area of
Mm-hmm.
this suburb, and there's lots of public statues, right? So you walk around. There's one of like a hog with like a chicken sitting on its back. There's one of a giant slice of Swiss cheese with a mouse poking out. It's just very
Oh,
fun,
I thought
whimsical
it was gonna be
statues.
like statues of like founders and
No,
generals
no,
and
it's just little critters and it's very fun. But I turned so I went back. I was in the it was not the main street, but it was still in downtown area, but I had to take a back road to get back to the main street because of the construction. And I drive by this building
yeah.
and I saw the most incredible. I'm going to send it to you while I'm building it up. The most incredible statue, I have never been more delighted by a piece of public art than I have with this statue. And what it is, I'm going to flash it up on the screen right when you get it. But it is a statue of a very very round frog, and he has a little crown on his head, and he's the most. I saw him and I went, "Oh!" Like I was
He's
literally
such a big
driving.
boy.
I was driving and I was just looking back and like, look at. There was nobody else in the car. Look at how big he is. Oh, I immediately called Emma. I said, Emma, we have to go on a field trip this weekend. I need a picture with the frog. We have to go. He's amazing. Oh my gosh. I mean, how could you?
Why does he have a crown? What
He's
is he the
so
king
big
of?
and
He's
he's
the
so
king of frog.
royal. Oh, and
He's
there's a
a
little
very
plaque. I
big
can't wait
frog.
to read the plaque. I'm gonna go inside. It looks like it's the city manager based on this, or there's the city attorney, the city council. It's a city council building.
Oh, sure.
So this maybe is a
And it's
statue of
got
one
that
of.
weird Art Deco font that every city building has.
Yes,
You
maybe
know.
this was the first mayor of Edmond, Oklahoma. I don't know, but I saw him, and I'm. You know what? I'm back. I used to be like cities bad, cars bad, but now cities, they're coming up.
Hey, imagine if that street was a street and you could just like walk on it and see the statue up
What if
close.
what if the frog was alive and he took me under his tutelage and I became sort of his vassal, and then and then I could work for the round frog king.
I became his cupbearer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I would need many cups to fill his large cheeks. Ribbit. Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that is nearing the end of the Lenten season. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick.
Very excited for this Lent that I have not been participating in to be over so that I can start eating ice cream without guilt instead of eating it with guilt, which is what I've been doing
There's
the entire
like
Lent.
Leo was not born yet when my last Lent, and this Lent he's fine. It's like he's 11 months old. He's bebopping around,
Oh, yeah. He's got some
and
hair on him. That picture, he's
oh my
he's
gosh,
grown quite a bit of some locks since
hmm
Zeke.
he's got some curls
Yeah,
on him.
and I think he's more proportional now. I
Yeah,
think he's a little less
yeah.
chunk and a little bit more
He's
body.
just gotta like sit at the lowest, settles at the lowest point. His chunk kind of like that frog. He was very much like the first thing that I thought of when I saw the frog. I was like, that frog looks like my son, like my large 11-month-old son. It's a
My
very like
large
thick
adult baby
guy.
son.
It was so cute today.
Oh,
Phoebe and Leo
yeah.
flew down to Melbourne, Florida today,
Whoa.
and so Phoebe's gone. I told you this already.
Mhm.
And so Leo, we had to wake Leo up because they had a flight from Pittsburgh to Melbourne.
Oh,
Um,
the Pittsburgh airport, favorite airport James Donald Forbes McCann in all of America. Pittsburgh was his
Yes.
favorite airport. So if you ever go,
Just make a pilgrimage
yeah,
to the McDonald's
take a
he ate at.
photo, take a
Yeah.
photo, send it to him.
But yeah, so Phoebe went straight to Melbourne. It was a great direct flight. But it was early. It
Mm.
left at 6. Well, it was scheduled to leave at 6. It left at 7, which I don't know if you've ever sat on a tarmac with a toddler. Those two things don't mix, and he was crying, and I'm sure everyone on the plane was like, "Who brought this baby on a 6 a.m. flight?" But
I
hey,
think
man.
what they should have been asking was who put wings on this plane and decided to leave it on the ground. You know, that's
Why
a
is
better
this plane
question.
not going up?
Yeah.
I think it was de-icing. That was probably the issue.
I've had to
'Cause
de-ice in Pittsburgh before, actually.
oh, on when you're on a flight?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not great. But anyway, we woke him up this morning and he was very confused. He did not wake up at first. We like picked him up and he was like, and I like picked him up like I was carrying him and he just like kind of threw his arms over my back and
Mhm.
just like went, and I laid him down. He was still
Oh,
sleeping. I
come
moved him,
on.
turned on the lights. I had to change him, so like his clothes are off and he's still like asleep.
Yeah.
And he wakes up like naked
Right.
and he's like, ah.
As we all have at one time or
What's
another.
happening?
Yeah.
Who's doing this? But he was so tired he couldn't like struggle. So it was actually the easiest it's been to change his diaper in like months because
That's great.
he's a fighter, man. He's so
Oh, yeah.
strong now. He's
I
got teeth. He's trying to
oh,
walk. He can stand for
come
like
on.
5 seconds.
He's in
Jeez.
business.
He's so
I
big. He's turning
I
into year
love it when
one.
when you pick up the child and they're so asleep that they're just it's like you're holding Buster from Mythbusters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like
D-
last night I had to hold Peter because he's been going through his 4-month sleep regression like nobody's business. And I had to hold him. I watched The Northman while I held him. And that was quite the juxtaposition
yeah.
to watch a Viking warrior do a pagan ritual and then rip a guy's throat out with his teeth and then look down at my boy
Little guy.
peacefully sleeping, sucking on a pacifier. No hate in the comments. Some people are very opposed to pacifiers. I don't know if you know this, but
People have a lot of opinions. Like I
they
made a
do.
reference. I made a reference to not wanting. We didn't want to get Leo a smash cake that was had sugar in it. And one of my coworkers went, "Oh, you're one of those." And I was like, "Okay, that."
What is that? What is
They're
that?
like, "It's
What
his
one of what?
birthday."
Can you clarify for me? One of what? I'm so you think I'm a liberal because I don't want my kid you don't want me?
Or am I a conservative? I
Well,
actually
am I
don't
a
know where the
conservative?
stereotype is
I
here.
don't understand. First of all, can I tell you I'm one of these? I'm going to tell you what I am. I hate the smash cake regardless of its sugar content.
Really?
Yes. Imagine you're a child. You're 1
What
years
makes it
old.
different from a cake?
Nothing.
Oh,
That's part of the point. The other point is imagine you're 12 months old, you are coming into your own as a human, you know. You've got your legs are moving, your arms are moving. You
yeah,
can kind of look
independent of one
around.
another.
You can choose some things, okay? You're starting to really figure it out. Everyone you know on the globe comes to your house and then stands around you and just stares. And they pull out their phone and they say, "Smash the cake. Smash it. It's okay. You can smash it. Oh, you smashed it." Immediately, you're infantilizing
An
a ch
infant, which
an
is
infant,
okay.
which is not okay in this
It's not
situation.
okay to infantilize an
N
infant. What's
no.
the root word of the word infantilize, Ethan?
Fanta.
Nope.
Just giving a child
Close.
Fanta infantilization. Um, yeah, I hate it because everyone stands around and like it's a kid. So if he doesn't like have a big like he doesn't smash his face in, if he doesn't grab it and throw it, and he just kind of looks at it, then everyone's kind of standing there and you stand there for a long time
Mhm.
waiting for the baby to do something. And
Yeah.
everyone's just like, "Oh, come on, do it." It's like it's like having a comedy podcast and being in conversation with people that you don't know very well that only know you have a comedy podcast.
Uh-huh.
And then they're
And they're just
like,
like, "When you gonna make a
"Come
joke?
on, you do it, smash
Do it.
cake."
Say the thing about the beef
I hate
jerky
the
stick."
smash cake. We're not doing it for my child.
Okay.
If we do it, and I hate you because you did it for your child. I want you
I
to go
He
to
hasn't done
jail.
it yet.
I hate him. I hate the
What
cake.
but, like, what are you gonna get him a cake for his birthday?
Who?
Are you gonna get him a cake for his birthday?
My son?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
because,
just
like,
not gonna have if he gets a cake, it's gonna be in private with just him
oh,
and the cake, you know?
some
I
privacy,
don't
alright?
yeah, yeah. I mean, because we got these kids, they go
But,
through a
like,
lot.
you know that if he gets a cake, it's gonna become a smash cake.
I
Like,
I don't have a problem with the way he can eat the cake however he wants, okay?
okay,
The problem
sure,
is everyone's expectation that he smashes the smash cake.
sure, you don't like the ceremony of it.
I don't like yes, I don't
Sure.
like the ceremony because to me, it's exactly the same as, like, graduation, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of people being like, "Look at this," and they all just kind of stare for a while, and then everyone goes home. What are we doing?
Graduations and one-year-old, birthdays are very similar in that
Yeah, your
regard.
grandparents come for some reason.
Yeah, it's like most of the people there you don't know. It's not about
Yeah.
you, it's really for everyone else. Because like,
Mhm.
you know, you did all the things.
Hey, graduation
I am
ceremonies are not for
graduating
me.
this semester, and
Yeah, are you going?
mhm.
Do you get to wear what's col do you wear, like, a green gown?
No, it's a black gown
It's
with like
black gown?
with like a green and gold, hood.
Tassels, hood.
I don't know why it's
Oh.
called a hood because it's really not a hood, it's
Well,
like a
because
really
you're getting it's
long.
because it's a master, so you get, like, a fancy you get some more regalia.
I get a fancier hood, yeah, than
Yeah.
than my undergraduate compatriots.
Mm.
But yeah, the reason I'm going is because I made a promise to my mother.
Oh, you
Uh,
should never do that.
no, I didn't do my undergraduate graduation. Did you know that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I went to a friend's wedding instead. My grandmother was upset with me because she was like, "This is a once in a lifetime opportunity." I was like, "Actually, no, I'm going to get 2 degrees in my life, so it's actually a twice
It's
in a lifetime opportunity.
this
My friend will only get married once, hopefully."
hopefully. Also, I've already graduated high school
High school, yeah,
and 8th grade and 6th
and
grade and
kindergarten,
kindergarten. So, like, I've done this quite a few times.
quite a few. I you could say that I've graduated. Additionally, I was not proud of my undergraduate degree. It was quite literally one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life. I had such an easy major. What are you kidding me?
Yeah, I got, like, a 98. I guess the test was hard, like, I don't know, I do you have a hard time with it? I didn't really have a hard time with the test, I don't know.
No, 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 no. I didn't say
But, like,
I did
I
well.
studied a lot, like, I mean, this was yeah,
That's
goodness.
me. That's
Yeah,
me to a
that is
T.
you.
That is
You
me. Yeah.
if we were in
Yeah.
high school together, I think I would've thrown a beaker at your head.
No, I had such I had such a fun time in
Yeah.
undergrad, and I did what I did, and I was like, oh, and the other aspect was I was graduating a semester early and starting my job,
Mm,
and I didn't want to go back and do graduation. You
right,
know, I didn't
because
want to
once
like,
you're out, it's like
why don't I go back? Yeah,
yeah, it's like the guy who comes back and dates seniors after he's a sophomore in college, you know?
not me.
Not you. Not you. That would never be
Yeah.
you. So we were talking about your son. He was on the plane.
The thing I did date a high schooler when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't go back and date
I was
her.
not I was not referencing that.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
To be clear, I would never
The
bring up
age
your
gap was a normal one.
yeah. I saw
But I
some
do know what you're referring to.
I saw some tweet thread and it was like a guys like posting gifs of like video game characters like loading guns when they're like when she turns 18 2 weeks after and they're like shooting this guy because he's a pedophile because he's dating a 17-year-old. It was
Yeah,
very funny.
yeah. We
That's not
all
you. That would never
yeah,
be
we all
you.
know that girl who was, like, 15 and dating a 21-year-old, and it's like, "Hey,
Ooh,
hey,
hey.
you are being groomed.
Yes. It
You should avoid
actually
this."
doesn't matter that he's in the Marines
Yep.
because that's should not affect your decision. It seems to really be affecting your decision based on your Facebook posts. But I think you should maybe reevaluate some things. Try dating a member of the Space Force. At least maybe there's some perks. You get a moon
Oh,
rock or
man.
something. With the
Yeah.
Marines, you just get a divorce. You know?
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry.
You get a letter.
Oh, hey, all love and respect to the troops out there that are listening. I think there's exactly like one or two of you that are in the military. So
No, no,
thanks.
no, no, a ton of the troops listen to our podcast. We have a
Really?
lot of the troops.
Can you imagine being deployed to a combat zone and listening to
Dude.
our damn show as you're jumping off of a truck or whatever?
More like catching foxhole. Alright, there it is.
Did you see the big announcement?
Yeah, oh yeah, uh-huh. No. I'm sorry. I feel really bad when I admit to not listening to my friends' podcast. Although they always tell me, my friend podcaster is always like, I haven't listened to you guys in a while. So you know what? I don't care. I haven't listened to any of those. The podcast you're thinking I'm going to say, haven't listened to that one ever. Go on.
They're going back to weekly uploads.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which I'm very, very
I
excited
did hear
about.
that because I got cigars with Father Anthony and Nick yesterday. That was
They had the
awesome.
inside track?
Yeah, because Nick edits podcasts. So he's like, yeah.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. I'm very excited because I've been feeling Matt Frad's been off his game. He's not really doing anything good lately.
Oh, really? That's a
I
bummer.
mean, his interviews are fine, but it's just like, this is why community is important. This is why the pro-life is good. This is why transgender bad. This is why, it's just like he's done it all before. I don't feel like there was a period of time where he was having really interesting guests on. It was just banger after banger after banger. And then now it's just so I'm excited for Luke and Gomer to come back in. Maybe they changed the game of Catholic podcasting like they did back in 2015. Maybe they're going to be the Ethan and Patrick of 2023. What do you
Yeah.
think? You think so?
I hope not.
Oh,
I hope they don't become the Ethan and Patrick because that'd
yeah.
be a regression.
Yes. Very excited, but marginally successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Biting off more than they can chew in
Mm.
college.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you see that photo of us that was from our live show back in the
I
day?
sent it to you.
Wait a minute.
I I sent it to the admin chat on Discord, bit.ly/crunch Discord. It popped up on my memories in my Microsoft OneDrive. Microsoft OneDrive
Gosh.
wants to show me the photos that I have from X number of years ago, which is not a feature that I ever asked for. I don't
Mhm.
think I don't think I need a social networking aspect to my file storage system.
Here's a PDF that you accidentally saved in
Yeah,
3 years
exactly. Here's a
ago.
here's a screenshot from 10 years ago. You wanna
Emma Emma looked through my camera roll the other day, and she was just like she was in shock. She was like, "How do you live like this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Every screenshot that you take, whether on purpose or an accident, you just leave in your camera roll." Like, she was just scrolling through, and I just have a bunch of screenshots of texts, of websites,
Yep.
random images that I've saved mixed
Oh
in
my
with, like,
gosh.
pictures of Peter, and they're not even good pictures of him. It's just, like, random ones that I grab really quick, and he's, like, looking like this, you know? And her camera roll is like she deletes all the bad ones. She only keeps the good ones. She instantly deletes screenshots as soon as she doesn't need them anymore.
They have an album that they go to. You can just mass delete them all at once.
The women?
No, the iPhone. Yeah, Apple released this feature for women.
I thought you were saying that like women have a feature that men don't have access to. I
Yeah,
thought that's
women
what
have an
you're
Apple feature. They have access to an
it's
album where
yeah,
they
it's called the old frontal
right,
cortex.
the neocortex.
The neocortex. I do like the Matrix.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The frontal lobe.
I feel like I'm high right now.
You do? Okay, good.
I feel like
I'm
this
glad I'm not
episode
the only one.
this episode is kind of I'm like a little sweaty, but I'm also cold and like I'm drinking
I
coffee.
I gotta tell you, I am so out of it. So like a couple of days
Yeah.
ago, I went to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know
Yeah.
why I did it.
I saw I was up with Peter and I saw you tweeting and I was like, Patrick's down bad. Something's wrong. Like
I
he's up
was
late.
I was up late. I was tweeting. I don't know why. I was not down. I wasn't sad. I wasn't
Sure.
like upset. I mean, I was
Uh-huh.
getting sad because it was
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
But like
I
I was
was
just
I was drinking and I started crying and I started watching videos from high school. I wasn't sad, you know.
as we go on, we remember.
Oh.
That's a stupid song. Anyway,
Hey,
yeah. So
it made
I
me
was up.
cry.
Really?
Yeah, when I left band for the last time.
Sure. Yeah. They're like, and you're just like playing the trumpet, and
How
the
dare
and the
you?
and the snares are like, they're doing like a marching band breakdown.
I don't like this characterization that you're making of band kids. This feels very stereotypical.
I feel like band kids are just theater kids with talent. I said
I
what I said.
I was gonna dunk I was
I
gonna
said
dunk
what
on
I
theater
said.
kids, but you did it for me. It's just
I said what
it's
I
pretty
said.
good. Yeah.
I mean, we used to make jokes about band kids in orchestra because we were like, dude, it's just basically Guitar Hero. You just push buttons and the note comes out. You know,
Yeah.
it's not really
What I
skillful.
was gonna say is, like, that's how band kids were leaving, on the last day of school, but theater kids, they were like that's how they were leaving their last day of school.
The theater kids were singing "For Good" from the musical Wicked.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to is that
Have you heard this song?
Wicked?
The song "For Good" from the musical Wicked? The musical about how the witch was actually the good guy the whole time, and she was in love with the scarecrow.
Mm.
Spoiler alert.
Um, no. No, I don't
Okay.
know that one.
So, at the end of the show,
Can you give me a tune? Can you give me something to,
yeah,
like
it's, uh I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them and then help them in return. So that's like a
maybe a
little like
chorus? Do you get the chorus there?
that's the opening, and then it's like, because I knew you,
You
I have
have
been
been
changed
changed for
for good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this. I know it.
Yo, you've heard it?
Yeah.
You just wanted to make me sing it?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, okay, alright. So, I like that song because it's at the end of the show,
Mhm.
and, the good Glinda, the good witch, and Elphaba, the wicked witch of the West, they were actually
Elphaba?
roommates. Yeah, it's because of L. Frank, because the guy who wrote Wizard of Oz was named L. Frank Baum, so they named her Elphaba. Yeah, it's a dumb show. Anyway, it had a Hamilton grip on theater kids for, like, 4, 5 years
I
in
knew that it was
2008.
big. Wicked Wicked was really cool until another musical starring a green person came out when the Shrek musical was released, and I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
what we're still in the throes of Shrek until the
Oh,
next
yeah.
until Wicked 2
The
comes
squeakle.
out. We just need it's just a progression of green people. That's all that these
I went to see Wicked live, and it was fantastic live.
I believe it.
It was beautiful.
Roommates. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 roommates.
But, like, I think it was, like, now that I've gone through the part of my life where, oh, I've been to college, like, when I
Yeah.
was young and in high school and middle school, like, all of this was a fantasy world to me. College was totally something that was a mystical and magical, and I could totally understand that there being a goat professor. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, that's kind of a lame like, you're gonna make the Wicked Witch of the West go to college? What are you gonna make
Yeah.
her do next? Vote? Come on. Jury duty?
You're gonna
Anyway, it's
you're
just a
gonna
very, like
draft her into the Iraq war?
yeah, come on. Like, this is like a little like, let's play with the imagination here a bit, you know? Poppies,
Uh,
chemistry.
oh boy.
Oh,
She'd have something to do.
OChem.
She'd have something to do with the poppy fields in Afghanistan, I'll tell you that.
Ayo, there we go.
Oh, look how bad a
Um,
reference there.
but the good witch and the bad witch are roommates in college, for those of you who
Mhm.
never saw the show or listened to the songs. And, so they become enemies, and they become friends, and they're enemies again because she becomes wicked. And
Whoa.
then at the end of the musical, after the events of Wizard of Oz take place, they're saying goodbye to each other, right? And they sing a song about how they've been changed for good because they know each other. And my favorite
Mm.
part of the song is they have the opening line is the one that I just sang that Ethan made me sing. It's this long, like,
I'm not making
kind
you
of
I'm halfway across the country, bro. Don't try to say that I'm forcing you you're not under duress right now. You're
that's true.
podcasting in your own house.
The other that's fair. There's actually a Gru holding a gun right behind my Sing the
That'd
song,
be
Pat,
great. When we have an in-person studio one day, I'm gonna print that out in big just have a huge 6 by 10 of
behind the
Gru
camera.
holding a gun. So that when we have Mark Hart comes on the show and he's
Like, what's going on? And so
staring.
she says she does that whole opening line that's, like,
Mhm.
a good, like, 16 bars long about, like, I've heard it said, all this stuff like this truism, like, people there's a reason, and
Mm.
we're led to people who help, and then she immediately
Ooh.
undercuts it by going, "I don't know if I believe that's true." It's really bad writing. It's this nice
Hmm.
long, like, people like it because, like, we're led to those who help us most to grow,
Oh
and then
gosh.
and if we let them and we help them in return, like, then we'll be better people.
Mhm.
Or that could be just baloney, but hey, I like
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's just a dumb it's a really dumb opening song, but it had like
How
a
come every musical is that's popular is either, like, incredibly saccharine like that or super cynical? How come that there's no because those just the only 2 modes that theater people occupy? Which is either Sartre or, friggin', the other guy?
I mean, you have to understand the cultural, center of
Why?
musicals is just New
New York?
York, and everyone
Yeah.
in New York just hates their lives.
Yeah, it's true.
New York is a center of death. It's just sad there.
Yeah, speaking of, there's a very funny thing that happened to me the other day. I forgot about this story. This is a great podcast story. Good transition, New York. Are you done with the Wicked thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm off the rant.
I was with a mentor, and we were having a conversation in a coffee shop. I was kinda
He
sharing
sucked
with
your
him.
soul? Oh, a
What?
mentor, excuse me. Sorry,
Stupid,
not a
stupid. I
dementor.
hate
I set myself up for that one.
you
That
did.
was mean. That
I'm
was
gonna
mean.
I'm gonna flush myself down the toilet now.
I'm gonna
Like,
cut off my own hands.
I'm gonna moaning myrtle myself in real life. Um,
It's that don't say that.
there's I don't know. So, I was in the coffee shop with this guy, and we were talking about vaccines because he has a brother. Are you okay? What's
That
going
was
on?
really funny.
Thanks. We're talking about vaccines because his brother worked for this, like, lab, this, like, COVID lab that did the rapid tests,
Mhm,
and so him and his brother were, like, at odds from the get-go because it was just,
sure.
like, he was kind of skeptical about a lot of things, and his brother obviously was, like, in touch with the CDC, like, working for a lab that designed he had a lab that went from 12 employees to, like, 400 employees, like, they were
Wow.
huge players, and very helpful with what all they were doing. Great
Mhm.
stuff, but his brother came to him and was like, "Hey, I think I'm dying because of the vaccine.
Whoa.
Like I've just developed a bunch of heart problems and I'm starting to see all the data that comes out and he's looking at all he's like a big science guy, research guy, so he's looking at all the data and he's like, "Man, it feels like that there's some correlation here." And this is just a guy who's in it, right? I'm just saying what he told me. I'm not saying anything. Please don't write in. But so he was telling me all this and he before he said all that, he prefaced this is what I really want to talk about. He said, "Are you into conspiracy theories?" And I was like,
Yes.
I played it off. I was like, "Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I don't know." And he started talking about it, but the funny thing is that I had just downloaded this image onto my phone. Like,
Are you gonna
literally
text it to me and then put it on the screen again?
no, I don't know, I'll just show you. But, like,
Okay.
literally minutes before I read a thread, because we were talking about New York, I downloaded this image onto my phone, which is
Does
a it's
that
a
predate 9/11?
yeah, it's 1976,
Oh
and the
gosh.
the argument is that because there's a solar eclipse happening in this image that it's, like, preconditioning or, like, program, whatever it is. What is it called?
Yeah, I like that because,
This Cookie Monster
preconditioning.
eating the Twin Towers with a solar eclipse, and then what the ring around the moon is called a corona, and then there's, like, these people who, like, prayed in a circle at ground zero, which is also a corona, and this guy was, like, connecting all these things about the coronavirus, and I, like, had just read all of this right before this conversation, so he was like, "Are you into conspiracy theories?" And I almost, like, pulled out, I was like, "Look at this picture of Cookie Monster and tell me what you think." But I didn't do it.
I like predictive programming
Yeah,
conspiracy
yeah,
theories because it's like
yeah.
it's very clearly hindsight bias. Like you're
Yes,
looking at the
yes.
thing that's like,
Mhm.
oh, the twin towers are significant to me. Like they could have picked a Chrysler building and it would have been the same, the same thing. But
Right.
it's like it's funny that they say, oh, that's predictive programming. But a Cookie Monster didn't eat the twin towers, so how is it predictive programming?
Yeah, right.
Like
This
it's
is
predictive.
I can't
Like
believe they predicted this.
I don't know if you know this, but it was 2 airplanes, that hit those things, so it
And
wasn't a
not
Cookie Monster.
one large puppet going, "Ah, blah, 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 blah."
C is for cookie, and cookie is for coronavirus.
Oh, that's a pretty good.
C is for coronavirus, and
Yes.
coronavirus is for me.
Oh, boy.
Also, a lot of things are called corona. It means crown
Yeah.
in Spanish. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a lot for me.
Although Tom
Anyway,
Hanks was traveling with a Corona typewriter,
that I
there
think
were
was also in the thread, and
that
I
was
think
the
it
that was the gateway for everyone into conspiracy
Mhm.
theories.
Mhm. There was something else where, like, oh, years ago, he played a guy whose last name was Corona in, like, a movie or something too, so that was,
Adam
like, another
Corona.
yeah,
No. Who am
Toyota
I thinking of?
Corona.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Do you wanna do a topic?
Sure.
What's your thing?
I I've been thinking a lot about placelessness
Oh,
recently.
because you're moving.
Yes. And I would like to talk about that.
Alright. Let's do placelessness.
Okay.
Get after it.
So, a priest friend on a locked
Wait,
account. Oh, what?
before we get into the topic, I do wanna remind everybody that starting the week after Easter on our Patreon at the $10 a month and up level, me and Patrick are going to be reading through The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I have not started yet. I have not started it, but I will start. I've got the best people reading it. I'm
It's
gonna
me and Ethan. We're the
yeah.
best people, and we're reading it.
So we're gonna do Hunchback of Notre Dame, and we're gonna do a ton of other books. We're gonna work our way through scripture. We're gonna read spiritual classics. We're gonna read the classics of Western fiction. So you're gonna want to go to patreon.com/the crunch, subscribe at the $10 a month and up level, and listen to our weekly bonus show. If you're already subscribed, you don't have to do anything. You're gonna get it no matter what.
We gotta
Uh,
read the City of God. We gotta read the histories of Herodotus. I'm like
yes,
so excited.
there's going to be all kinds of really cool stuff that we're going to get
Yeah.
into. We're going to resurrect the Bible cast. That's going to be a part of this. So you don't miss out on this because we're really going to put a lot of time and energy into making that really, really good. And then moving forward, the main show is going to stay pretty much the same. We're going to probably take more of a focus on nonfiction and other things that we're learning about and thinking about secular matters rather than getting really deep into the classics into
Renewing and
spirituality.
perfecting the temporal order is really if I had to
Some
like
might
come up
say.
with a phrase off the dome that I came up with, I would say we're gonna focus on renewing and perfecting the temporal order.
Yeah, and then I would if I could also come up with a phrase, I would say that the bonus podcast is going to be the source and summit of our
Of
podcast.
our podcast.
So anyway, that's the pitch. Patreon.com/the crunch. Check it out. Okay, now we can go.
Good
Topic.
stuff. Okay. So a priest friend on a locked
No.
account, not the one that you're thinking of,
The other one?
a different one.
The other
Um,
one.
not the other one. I don't know if
Oh.
there is another one.
Yeah, there isn't.
Yeah. So he he tweeted out to just to us. Um moving to a different region of the country is gravely evil, and if you do it more than once in your life, you should examine your conscience.
Wow. I
And
love that.
I get in trouble.
I love that. Yeah, you're busted, dude.
I know, I'm so mad. But anyway, um it just I was it was funny that he said that because like I have moved to a different region of the country only once. Phoebe has now moved to a different region of the country twice. You have moved to a different region of the country
Once.
once.
Yep.
I don't think there's many people our age who have not.
Right.
I mean, especially if you consider going away to college, even if it's a state college. Like, practically speaking, if you grew up in Miami and went to Florida State in Tallahassee, that's a different region of the country. Like, you're so 7 hours drive away is like so far away. And so I wanted to talk about that because I I don't think we realize a lot of the post liberalism stuff is like recognizing the things that we take for granted as not normal.
Mhm.
And we are American, and so we are a nation of immigrants at least 400 years back at the most. And so like our family histories are very tied to moving to a different place.
Mm.
Like my parents moved here in 1950 and they bought a house, you know? And so like striking out on your own success is kind of in the American mind entails striking out on your own,
Mm.
making success elsewhere,
Yeah.
and then living there. And then your kids strike out on their own. And then everyone kind of comes together maybe at like, you know, you all go to Myrtle Beach. You get a rental house on the beach once a year. That's when you see
Yes.
your family, you know.
Yes.
And I've just been thinking about you know, because when we were considering moving to Oklahoma City, that was a consideration of we're gonna move there for years. Like we're planning on like that's gonna be where we live.
Yeah.
And that move was not like a light consideration, and changing that decision was not a light consideration either. But I'm happy to be moving back to Melbourne. It's now
Mm.
public knowledge that I'm moving there. I'm
Mhm.
Yeah, today was my last day of work.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You're not working tomorrow?
No, I
Wow.
worked on Sunday. Yeah.
Wow. So you're done. You're free
Oh,
and
I'm
clear.
done.
Why
Yeah.
aren't we drinking?
Oh, I guess we could be drinking.
Do you
I have
wanna
more
go
stuff to do.
do you have a beer?
No,
Oh, I have a beer. I was gonna go get it.
I have the rest
Just
of my bourbon, but it's
we can stop the podcast right now and drink.
I don't wanna drink on the podcast.
Oh, you're
I don't wanna
such
drink
a
on
square.
the No, I have stuff to
Hey.
do today to prepare for the
Yeah,
move.
and
Anyway,
you just drink and then do the stuff.
I don't wanna do that. I'm so
You
tired of
have
being
Patrick
more
has
tired.
1 beer, falls asleep on the couch.
I seriously,
You're a lightweight is what you are.
I'm just tired. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
I'm
so whatever.
sorry. I was just cutting you
Um,
off. Today you're moving to Melbourne, it's your last day of
yeah.
work.
And I was thinking, I was like, okay, my son is now crawling around my, my childhood bedroom that I occupied from when I was 5 to when I was 18. That's
Mhm,
crazy.
mhm.
He's gonna be able to go visit his grandparents anytime. He's going to go to church at the church where his great grandfather is buried. Like that's crazy. That
That's
doesn't happen
wild.
anymore, but it used to happen all the time. Like he's going to go to mass and they're going to like pray for the living and the dead and he's
Mhm.
going to like pray for the soul of his great grandfather and his great grandfather is buried in the churchyard. Um and that's just like a wild experience. And like he's like my he 1974 whenever when my grandparents moved down to Florida is like so far away from him. He's like, "Yeah, my grandparents, my family has lived here since the 1970s." You know? And I guess I like as young modern people, we are
Mm.
told to go leave your hometown. And I think it's okay to leave your hometown to like experience other places so you like kind of understand other places. But I don't think you necessarily need to go live in other places. In fact, I don't think you
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
if you can help it
Yeah.
because it's very sad. I just left two very good friends. Like I saw Father Anthony and Nick for like the last time in a long time
Mhm.
and it sucks,
Yeah.
you know?
Dang. You're making me feel. It makes me think of the Simon Saris blog. It's called Where to Live. I'll link it in the description
Oh,
below.
that's what you're looking up. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah,
was not listening to you. I was pulling up this document to reference.
sure.
But he talks about how he lives 10 miles away from where he was born, and he lives in New Hampshire, and he's like a web developer. So you'd think that he'd go live in San Francisco or New York or some like big city where you can do this. And he admits that there's a trade off, but he really thinks that there is something about being embodied in where you live, and this is kind of his the paragraph I think about the most from this blog. But you should read the whole thing if you get the chance. It says what matters more than finding the most perfect location is what you do when you get there. Many people seem to live in such a way that if they were dropped off in a different house in a different suburb of a different state, they almost wouldn't notice as long as they had their house had a TV and internet and the GPS still led them to a Starbucks. The really important thing isn't where you live exactly, but being embodied in your living regardless of where you are. And
Yes.
I think that that is huge and exactly what you're talking about. And he talks a little bit about cities and, being okay with living out in the country and learning skills and that type of thing. But I think for you, it's like working backwards, like, okay, what kind of life do we want to live? And then like letting that inform your decisions about what you want to do. It's like, okay, we want to live the kind of life where my son can know my grandparents. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like and then you have to make decisions that way. I think the problem is that so many people talk about placelessness. There is that problem where my day to day I could do what I do anywhere. I really don't need to be in any specific place or work for any specific company or live in any specific neighborhood because for most Americans, you can work at the same chain anywhere in the country. You can do the same type of work pretty much anywhere in the country. Like there's nowhere really except for like lobster fishing, in Maryland, like you can't
Yeah.
lobster fish in Oklahoma, like things like that, but it's pretty much the same anywhere you go. And so of course people feel this like rootedness, and I think that's what the priest was talking about was like if you're just moving around all the time searching, it's probably because you are refusing to live where you are, and it's probably because you don't know how to be embodied, so you keep thinking that a move is going to fix it, and does it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we experienced like a lot of loneliness in Pittsburgh because
Sad.
all of our friends were kind of spread out. And
And also, it's a snowy hellscape for three-fourths of the year.
we're both from the tropics, you know?
Mm.
So like
Houston, the
it's
tropics.
well, she's from the swamp, so she's from
Yeah.
a hot location, sunny location, you know?
Yeah.
Houston's not really the tropics, I guess.
It's and to me, it's like a hot, concrete, oily tropics, you know?
She's from the Bay Area of Houston.
Is that where the tech firms are?
No, there's other bays in the country.
No, 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 no.
I like when I was living there, I liked referring to it as the Bay
The
Area and
Bay
making people
Area?
from California upset.
Yes.
I do the same thing with Orange County because
Mm.
Orlando is in a county called Orange County, and so I refer to it as
Oh,
the OC.
the OC.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just like Californians. Like we joke about Texas all the time, but I just can't stand California. Not for the usual liberal reasons, but for like just general vibes. You know?
I think I'm gonna make a promise now on this podcast. I'm never gonna go to California. I've never been,
Wow.
and I'm just not gonna go. If I have to fly to Japan for something, I'm gonna fly through Anchorage, like
Dang,
I'm
I did go to LAX. Yeah, I
lax,
guess I
baby.
have been to California,
I'm not going
and
to
the whole time I was
California.
looking for famous YouTubers. I was like,
Hmm.
"Where you guys at? You guys are always going places." Is that
Yes.
Mr. Bean? No, that's just a white guy with brown hair.
Anyway, so you're from the tropics and you live in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and
We
it was
were we
lonely.
it was very lonely, and that was a big thing was like, okay, if we move somewhere else, is it going to change? Like, you
Yes.
and I had this conversation when we were thinking about moving to Oklahoma. It's like, is it gonna be different? Like, are we going to see you guys or are we gonna see other like, we didn't know that because, like, in our experience outside of college where you could just walk to someone that you knew, it was that experience of loneliness. And so, like, I think a
Mm,
lot of people do move, um, because they're lonely and they think that, moving will make it better,
yeah.
or they're like
It's
tired of their job or.
it's crazy to me how many people are lonely, but like they don't want to say that because of the subtext, or the assumptions people will make about you if you say that you're lonely.
What's the subtext?
So like I'm thinking of
I'm
oh,
wondering
that
what people are thinking about me right now.
nobody's thinking this about you. I think people are
Okay.
afraid to admit it because they think that people will think this about them.
Oh, sure.
But
Okay.
like I'm lonely and then they think, "Oh, well that must mean that there's something wrong with me."
Sure,
That
sure,
people
sure.
don't want to be around me or, something, something, something. And so they just don't say it out loud. Like it's good that you
Yeah.
and Phoebe are able to say it like we're lonely here. There's nothing wrong with us. This is just how it is,
Yeah.
like and I think there's so many people, especially the Catholics, who just desire community and friendship. It's strange. I go online and I see these posts by these people that's like, "Hey, I have this problem with my husband. What should I do?" And it's on the Catholic subreddit, It's like, do you don't have any friends in real life to talk to? Like the first place you're going is the Catholic subreddit. Like I see this
Yeah.
kind of stuff
No, that's huge.
all
Yeah.
all the time on
Yeah.
Twitter, on Reddit, on Instagram, everywhere. People looking for like these replacements for real community when like I've never thought or the Discord even. Our Discord's great, bit.ly/crunch Discord, but sometimes I feel like some people use it as a way to not be lonely, which is fine. But like I've never been like, oh man, I'm really struggling with something. I'm gonna go ask the Discord what they think.
Well,
You
you're a
know?
different case
I
because if
am.
you were to do that,
Yeah,
it would be different. It's the
it is
Discord
weird.
that you run.
But the other Discords that I'm in,
Sure.
or the
Oh,
Twitter
sure.
account.
Yeah.
But like, and if I do, like, I don't ever post anything on main on Twitter. If I post anything about me, like personally, it goes in my Twitter circle with the people that I know and am friends with in my real
Sure.
life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, this is why I'm so excited about moving to this house in a few months because we're going to be like literally today. Our friend Carly was like, "Hey, Emma, can you watch Leo, her son, Leo, the other Leo, the Leo that would have been mortal enemies with your Leo because they're both just huge kids,
Just thick.
thick boys." She's like, "Can you watch Leo for 3 hours this afternoon?" I was like, "Yeah." And I just think I thought about that happening, and I was like, "Man, how many Catholics or just people have enough friends, or even just have a friend that they can say last minute, 'Hey, can you come watch my kids for a few hours in the
Hmm.
middle of the day of?'" and then it actually happened, you know? So many people don't have that, and it's just like, that's not right.
What have we given up to gain what we have gained, is my question.
Unlimited entertainment and pornography.
Yeah, no, that is there. That's true.
That's people don't need friends when they can just boot up Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch The Departed tonight.
It's a good film.
It's such a good movie. Anyway, no, I needed a movie for my.
You could watch The Northman.
No, I'm not gonna watch The Northman.
I like it when he
I have a Walmart pizza, and I'm gonna
Oh,
yeah, one of those market side pizzas,
yes.
and
Those are good, actually. Did
they
you
are
get the
really good.
pepperoni?
Oh yeah, dude, I
Oh,
got
dude, the
flatbread.
pepperoni,
Oh
man,
yeah.
is good. I'm excited for you.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Um, anyway,
But do you hear what I'm saying? I do you
I
and
do.
you'll have this where you're going because 'cause you've got your high school friends and there's some other people. I just wonder, like, there's gotta be a way. We saw some, like, website at Seek that was like, "This is a way to connect with other young people and, like, make friends." It wasn't like a dating service, but it was like a do you see this at Seek? I forget what it's called, like,
No.
Run with the Saints or something like that, I think was the name of it. But
Mm.
their whole thing was, like, a matchmaking service for friends. And I'm like, "Man, this is good, but this is a Band-Aid," you know? Like, this is we shouldn't need like, Tinder as a Band-Aid, you know? Dating apps, ways people getting
And
connected online is just a it's not,
and we've
uh
seen. I mean, maybe we don't recognize this because we're married at and we
Yeah,
were
yeah,
married at like
yeah,
23. But like
yeah,
the Tinder dating scene, and there was a stigma attached to Tinder in college
yeah.
that like
There was a
ref-
stigma of women against me on Tinder in college. That's what it was.
it is okay. Uh,
It all worked
it
out.
all worked out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there is a reality that the technocratic solution. You're like, oh, this will just be an easier way to do the thing we already do, but it actually becomes the replacement because now you see people going like, why would you approach a woman in person? You should just talk to her on Tinder. Like
Yeah,
find one on Tinder. Like it's becoming less and less
that's
acceptable
crazy.
to meet
That's
people in that. Like you should
crazy.
never flirt with a coworker. Like it's like there is like the working individuals are over here, and then the
Mhm.
romantic individuals are on your phone. And if they happen to be the same person, that's fine. But they're different robots. You see, they're
Yeah.
different machines.
Mm.
Just philosophically, they're different. They're different entities. When they leave work, they become a sexual machine, right? And then when they go to work, they become a money producing machine. And then
Mhm.
when they become parents, they become dead. They might as well not exist. They're a dead machine.
I mean,
Anyway, feels that
he's
way.
he's spitting. Let him cook. I'm dead.
Anyway. But
Yeah.
yes, we are not machines that can be merely removed from one part of the large. We're not a cog that can be removed from one part of the machine and placed in a different place. We are naturally very rooted. We
Mhm.
like my body is made to live in Florida because I lived there. My
Yeah.
skin can't handle it up here.
Yes.
The largest organ of my body cannot handle it up here. It's
You're
dry and cracked, man.
You've got an epidermis that needs a thermos.
I need a thermos for my epidermis.
Yeah. I think there's a we don't want to it's like a cascading thing because if I admit that I can't just exist anywhere and do whatever I want to do and I necessarily have to be tied to some kind of place, then that means that all the other assumptions that I have about my life and about the world just have to start to go away.
It makes you not an individual. You're not an
Yeah.
individual because the individual can go anywhere and do whatever they
Mhm.
want, whenever they want, with
Mhm.
whomever they want. It's you're not, but you're not that. You're a human being, and that's why we on the Crunch Podcast promote being more human. Go to
Indeed.
bit.ly/crunch Discord to join our Be More Human chat. Be more human. It's a
And
thing that we came up with.
and I think this turns into weird like the secular version of this is like the people who are really into their city or really into their state, you know? Not like I'm not talking about for once the Texas flag people, who are
Yeah, no.
very proud of Texas, but I'm talking about like people who get really into like I live in Oklahoma City, like they all have a bunch of shirts that are just about Oklahoma City and they go to all of these different fairs and festivals. And it's like it's good to be involved and to go to those things. But at what point is that more of the same of just like trying to fill this thing with this other thing? You know, it's like
Yeah.
you don't know the names of the people that live on either side of you, but you go to all of the arts festivals downtown because you just
Mhm.
love your city so much. And like that doesn't feel right to me either because now what you've done is you're like consuming just another product that's being given to you and it's masquerading as a sense of place,
Yeah, we talked
you
about
know?
I've been going through some of my notes, because
How
I'm
dare you?
taking the comprehensive exam. And, so I went back to my 2020 classes when I first found out about post-liberalism. So I went to, like, way back, like, almost 3 years ago now. And, like, first so the my professor first kind of laying out for me what liberalism is, and, it's how it's a kind of a subversion of the lower over the higher. It tries to make complex, like, human realities into
Mhm.
um simple and digestible realities. For instance, did you ever have to do like a project on a country in
Yes,
college or
in middle school,
in middle school is what I meant to say.
I had to do a research project on Croatia, and
Sure, yeah,
instead of doing it, I went over to my friend's house, he was my partner on the project, and we played Donkey Kong on his arcade machine that he had,
that's awesome.
and then I made a PowerPoint very fast, and we got an A. Croatia is known for its waterfalls, people don't know this, but they've got a lot of waterfalls over there.
I had to do a project on Guyana, and
Where is Guyana?
well, okay, actually, no, I can ask this. I bet you. I'll tell you. I'll be honest, and
Okay.
I'll tell you if the projects were different. What did you have to put in the PowerPoint?
Just like facts about the country.
Were there categories of facts?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Okay, because what I had to do was I had to do like what is the what is the country's capital? What
Sure.
is their food like? What is
Yeah,
their
I'm sure
clothing,
yeah, I think we had to do
language,
stuff like that.
religion,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And that is like it was like we had to write like a paragraph on
Do they
each.
play Donkey Kong there? Yes, at least I would
Yes.
hope so.
And it's just funny because like culture then is reduced to those things like food and clothing and language or just beliefs, not even religion, like not the way they
Mm.
worship because
Mhm.
even if you say, "Oh, everyone in Ukraine is like Eastern Christian," or like everyone in Italy is like Roman Catholic. But like Roman Catholic in Italy, in like southern Italy or in Sicily looks different than Roman Catholicism in Spain. You know, or like in the Basque region of Spain.
You're
It's like
making up words now.
no, that's real.
Alright.
There's the Basque are the oldest are Europe's oldest people even. They're strong and mighty and their language is
I
unique. It's
I'm
connected to
pretty
no
sure
other
Europe's oldest person is like a woman in Norway, you know, that, like, smokes cigarettes and drinks Coke. She's 98 years old.
She rides a bike to work or whatever.
She ain't no Basque, I'll tell you that.
But we like reduce culture to there's no cult in culture. There's no worship in culture. There's no like community identity and like the I am from Oklahoma City is like or even Pittsburgh, you know, it's like there even though there really isn't a shared identity outside of like colors and food
Sports.
and sport and yeah, it's like it still makes me feel like I'm local
Mhm.
and I have a kinship with my neighbor because we both have the little flag outside that has the P with the penguin and the Steelers stars in front of it.
Mm.
Um,
I'm
but
walking here.
instead, like, instead, um, you know, there are very few places in the world where there are like neighborhoods. There are very few cities in the world where there are still neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh has this.
Yeah.
It's like I'm from Morningside, like, or I'm from Shady Side, or I live on the Polish Hill, right? And like Polish people do live on the Polish Hill still, and like Morningside is very Italian, you know. And there's like, and the churches are different, and like the people, the things that they do are different. They have different like devotions and different, you know, and all that's like slowly going away, partially because of the mergers. So there's that. But what can you do about that, you know? Like, but it's also partially because like the things that rooted people to Pittsburgh, these neighborhoods in Pittsburgh are going away, and Pittsburgh
Yeah,
is kind of lagging behind the rest of the nation. Um, yeah, we don't have neighborhoods anymore, and those neighborhoods you can't like create a culture in a city. You have to create a culture in your family and in a neighborhood, and then the neighborhoods will come together and create a culture in the city. And then really that's all you have to worry about because there's really no state culture. You
yeah.
don't have to form the state culture or the national culture. Just don't worry about your state or your nation. Who cares? Presidential elections are just reality television for
Patrick's
people who
being
have
cringe
college
again
degrees.
online.
No, it's just true. Don't vote.
I think we've made our point
The
successfully.
dumbest thing I ever did was convince someone that they had a moral obligation as a Catholic to vote in the presidential election.
Yeah, someone tried
I
to do
no
that to
longer
me.
think that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But, it's what I
What is the moral quality of like having to vote? You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just silly. What
It's like
makes
it's
voting
that
in a
thing
presidential election?
it's like political actions, like, if you can vote, then you should. It's like, okay, so if I'm living in 1100 and I can kill my feudal lord, should I? You know?
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
that's political action. Should I take it?
No, that's just,
No.
and you don't have to.
Obviously, they're different in kind, but, like, it just feels it's silly to me. I think I should be able to not vote and that no one can tell me anything because
My voting record is spotless though because I vote in local elections.
your
I
voting
care about
record,
that.
you're
My
batting
voting record.
1,000.
Oh yeah, baby.
Everyone you voted for has won.
Oh, that's not what a voting record is, Ethan.
I don't know anything
A
about
voting record is they keep track of who votes and they let you know. You can look up how many elections someone has voted in.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
It's great for when someone's running for president and you're like, "Hey, you've never voted
You've
before.
never voted.
Why are you running
Ooh.
for president or running for office?" Anyway.
Do we have a Dr. Ethan's dating corner question?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's ready.
I speaking of someone who needed to go to the Discord for help, I saw a juicy one the other day.
Okay, I saw a lot of activity in the dating corner channel, but I just never read it so that I can be a fresh-faced boy.
What did you put in the latest episode chat? What did you put? Why? What did you put?
Did you like it?
Uh-huh. Oh my god, that's
Uh,
funny.
nobody's responded to it.
I think they just like oh my
Ugh.
gosh. Okay. So, this one comes from we'll say it's anonymous. 24 people reacted to this with a red flag emoji. So we'll see how this goes.
Wow. Okay, so you're predisposing me to I'm gonna find every way to make this guy a green flag that I can, just so I can
Nice. I
vote.
like it. I like it.
All right, here we go. Load it up.
So I'm back. It's me again.
Are you talking as you or are you reading the
I'm reading
you're
the
reading the thing?
comment.
Okay, I was like, Patrick, you've been
Still
here the
living in a
whole
tiny
time.
town in South Dakota, but I've been set up by someone who lives 5 hours away.
Okay.
Set up with someone who lives 5 hours away. We've been talking for over a month and have been on 3 dates.
Is
First
this
few weeks went
who's a man or a
well.
woman?
This is a woman.
Okay.
That's why I was kind of like,
Okay,
like a little.
because
This is what women do. This is my imitation of a woman. Um, whoa, now,
all
be
right.
careful. Here are the things I like about him. He seems to have a stable life. He's a professor at an university, and he's working on his PhD and getting tenure. He has a house and a couple of small businesses that he runs. Our personalities mesh well. We both love to be sarcastic, and we love to joke around with one another. Now for my concerns. He doesn't want to be in a committed relationship until he's confident that we are headed towards marriage.
Cringe.
I wrote a blog post about this 5 years ago and got in trouble with Jackie Francois Angel. When I asked if he doesn't want me to see other people, he says he feels like I'm pressuring him or that I'm going to go date someone else. I haven't had my first kiss. I've expressed that I do not want to kiss anyone until they are my boyfriend. Regardless, he has made attempts to kiss me and has somewhat jokingly pressured me to kiss him on our last 2 dates. He's also crossed some physical boundaries during our last date that aren't on par with where we are at in our relationship. When I expressed that I felt like we shouldn't be doing this, he said he didn't see a problem with it and that it's not a sin. Lastly, he has expressed concerns about long distance, that we don't get to see each other often and do normal things a dating couple would do. I've made an effort to come closer to see him, but recently I visited a friend at a halfway point between the two of us. He said he couldn't come see me because he needed to work on his PhD homework. When I texted him that weekend, he was working on other things. That wasn't his homework. The next time we were going to be able to see each other might be a month away. And then she continued. In conclusion, I was really excited for him for the first few weeks and thought that things were going well. Now I feel like he isn't putting that much effort in to get to know me, which he has stated he feels he needs in order for us to get to a point where he asks me to be his girlfriend. My Catholic friends have expressed their concerns with some of his behaviors, but I'm wondering if I should give it more time because he has expressed that he is very cautious because he's been hurt so deeply in the past. Any advice? Thanks.
I'm trying, but I don't think there's any green flags to be found.
No, I my the thing that jumped out at me
Is
was
that he's
actually
he's getting a PhD?
yeah,
An
he's like a
academic?
nerd. I bet he has glasses. Anyway,
He's a loser.
the thing that jumped out at me was um he's like I don't want to be pressured to be committed, but he is like forcing the issue in terms of physical intimacy,
Patrick, for the
and he's
first
like,
time ever, jumping in and giving the advice right away instead of letting me do my job.
"Oh, sorry,
No, it's okay.
I
Go
thought that
ahead.
this was a conversation."
No, it's
Sorry.
just normally you read it and I give my first reaction and then you jump in and either like agree or disagree. I feel that's like how this segment has gone every single week since we started it. And then now you're moving to Florida, so it's flip the script time. I've got connections in Cuba. I'm smoking cigars. I'm wearing cabana shirts. I've got a hat that's tilted.
I'm wearing a linen suit.
I'm going to mass on the beach. Like
So excited for mass on the beach.
first of all, that's also I can't even imagine. Mass outside is the worst invention of the church. I hate it.
Well, it has to happen. You know, you got to get
I
all these
know
people.
it's fine. But anyway, finish what you were saying.
Okay, so he's like, "Oh, I don't want to. I've been hurt before. I'm being cautious." No, no, no. You know, like, come on, man. Oh,
Yeah.
you've been hurt before, so you want to be cautious emotionally. So very clearly, there's no emotions involved in you trying to mac on this girl. Come on,
Come
come
on.
on.
Come on.
For a guy with a PhD, you have a
Pretty
pretty
stupid
pretty
head.
stupid mind. I'm just kidding.
Stupid brain.
You got monkey brain up there. You
Monkey
got a monkey
brain.
working on your PhD. But hey, if you get enough of them, you could write Hamlet.
Yeah, I'll agree with what my precocious nurse said. Um I like podcasting with Patrick. It's fun.
Everyone makes the when they talk about the nurse Patrick jokes, they make feminine jokes. That's sexist. Okay, men
No.
can be nurses just as much as
Some
women.
of the hottest nurses I've ever seen have been men, and I will say that.
Actually, yeah, no,
Actually, yeah.
they're big boys,
Yes, I
and
when
they're like
that time
always
that I
jacked.
almost passed out when I went to the hospital with my friend who was having kidney stones or whatever, I told this story on the podcast, and, like, these firemen came in, they were "Whew, alright."
I used to do stand up comedy with a guy who was a nurse, and he was a jacked dude. He was a
Yes,
good looking
they're
guy,
always
and
jacked.
all of his comedy was about how like he's like all day I just hold men's penises. Like that's what I have to do. That old dudes, I
Yeah,
have to hold their member and like check it out and like make sure they're not
yeah, this is still
cancerous or
yeah,
something.
cancerous.
I'm like he's got like oh he's like on the ward for dude cancer. You know like
It's my least favorite YouTube channel, trick shot YouTube channel. Dude, cancer.
anyway.
Oh boy. Here's what I think. As the one with an actual PhD, as opposed to this schmuck that's just getting his PhD. We don't know what
Yeah,
he's doing. I uh,
you're
I
trying to get a PhD. You're not
I agree
getting.
with Patrick. I think the effort is the biggest thing to me. It's the effort and like the trying to use like, oh, I've been hurt in the past, so that means that I get to kiss you without any sort of emotional investment. Like
Ooh,
it's manipulative, right? It's like
yeah.
not that's not cool. And I think it when Emma was coming to Oklahoma, there was this weird time between like when we went on our first date and then we went on like our actual first date where she like didn't know what she wanted to do. She was very stressed out and nervous. And I was really worried that I had screwed it up. This is when I drank and like left her a voicemail, you know. And but
Does the voicemail still exist?
no, it's gone. It's gone. She deleted it. She
Dang
deleted it.
it.
I know. But she I knew that she was coming to Oklahoma to either like visit her friends again or like go on a second interview for her job, like her nursing job or whatever. And I was like, I just really want to see you. Even though like we weren't talking, she like expressed to me that she didn't want to date me, all these things, but I still called her. And I was like, I want to see you. I will drive wherever. And by the time she was already gone, you know, like I missed my
Bummer.
chance. I know it worked out, but um Like,
Sure
even
did.
when I was like, we were in this time where it was like not clear that we would actually date, I was still trying to go out of my way to see her, you know? And so, like, the fact that this guy, in theory, likes you and you are halfway towards him and he's not, PhD, you can do it in the car, hire a scribe,
You can
record stuff.
think anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just don't, if he doesn't want to put the time in, then it's not worth it. You can tell if a guy's worth it when it's long distance, especially if he's willing to make the long drives, even if it's like come up and down in the same day and you're just there for 4 hours and he's doing 10 hours of driving. Like, those are the guys, like, guys will do that if they want to date you. And if they don't do that, then they don't want to date you unless they have like a super good reason. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like legitimately can't because my leg is gone and I can't drive. That would be a different situation.
Get on a train, man.
Yeah, right? Build a train.
Go to her.
Indeed. My wife is calling me right now.
Oh.
Hey, Emma, you're on the podcast. Hang up if you don't want to be on the podcast.
Bye, love you.
Bye, I love you. She did not want to be on the podcast.
No, she did not.
But anyway, yeah, I think this guy's not worth your time because he's not putting the time in. And
My mom sent me this picture.
he's cute. He's not worth the time, so don't date him. Especially in the physical boundary thing, like, if someone just isn't respecting what you're saying, especially early on, it's like, okay, what's the standard that we're setting here? So
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like, he obviously wants to get physical with you, and if he has that desire and isn't willing to drive, I don't think he cares that much about getting physical with you specifically.
right, he just needs to get physical with someone,
Someone, yeah. So
and
it's
you
a
just
little,
happen to be there.
yeah.
Not that there's
Sorry.
anything wrong with you. Sorry, that sounded kind of harsh, but like, you're great.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that was more of a dig at him, where it's
Yeah,
like,
I hate this guy. I bet he does smash cake
look,
with
John Paul
with
II
sugar.
talked about the sexual urge,
Ah,
right? And it's a creative force, right?
mm.
It's the force that makes a man drive 10 hours in one day to be with his beloved. And it's not like a Freudian, like, oh, dudes just want one thing and it's disgusting. Dudes don't just want one thing and it's disgusting. They want one thing and it's beautiful. Just kidding. But like, yeah, it's like it's very clear that his desire is misdirected.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like his desire
yeah.
is not for you. His desire is for
To satiate this
something you happen
need,
to have.
yeah, that
Yeah.
you can fulfill.
Yeah.
So I would say I would drop him like a bag of dirt on the side of the road, and if you want, we can get you to move to a different region of the country.
Even though
Which,
it's a mortal sin.
even though it's a mortal sin, we'll get you a new job. We'll get you some new friends.
Yep. We know this great app,
Tinder.
Tinder. You can get friends on Tinder.
We got to end this show because we have 2 other things to record,
Indeed, we do. And
and
I would love.
you have a lot to do. You have to watch The Departed and eat a pizza,
I
and
do.
and I have a whole other job.
I'm so excited for my job where I can,
Yeah.
like, if I don't have calls to make and if I don't have a meeting, I just don't have to do anything.
I know, it's amazing. All right, bit.ly/crunch discord, patreon.com/thecrunch. Sign up for the pilgrimage. Ask us
Please sign
questions
up
about
for
the
the pilgrimage.
pilgrimage. If you have any questions about it, you can send us a message. We're happy to talk about it. You're going to want to go on the
Registration
pilgrimage
is ending soon.
soon.
Literally, all you need to save your spot is $500. That'll save your spot
Forever.
forever. You get it,
Yes.
and it's just there.
Yes.
And yeah, so like $500. You can go to selectinternational.com, selectinternationaltours.com/thecrunch, or the link in the bio, link in description.
Link in description.
Link in description. Our greatest president.
Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
Tune in next week when I become the king of Florida.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we will see you all next week. You're going to become the next Meatball Ron. Meatball Pat.
Meatball Leo's a meatball.